the secretary who rejected the CEO until he discovered her painful secret. You're tuned into True Soul Narratives, a channel dedicated to emotional storytelling, love, loss, loyalty, and transformation. If you're enjoying this, hit subscribe and leave a like. Now, back to the story. Nathan Parker stood at the floor-to-ceiling window of his corner office, the city skyline stretching endlessly before him. 35 years old, CEO of Technova Industries, a man who'd built an empire from nothing, a man who was about to lose everything that mattered. Behind him, the door opened softly. He didn't turn around. He knew who it was. He always knew. Claire. Nathan. Her voice. God, even now, even in this moment, her voice did something to him. He turned slowly. She stood in the doorway, looking small despite her usual confidence. Professional gray dress, hair pulled back, but her eyes. Her eyes were red, swollen, like she'd been crying for hours. In her hand, a white envelope. His stomach dropped. You're leaving? The words came out harsher than he intended, angry, hurt, desperate. Claire's throat worked as she swallowed. Yes. After everything? After I told you how I feel? A tear slipped down her cheek. Just one, but it gutted him. I have to. You don't understand, Nathan. He crossed the office in 3 strides, standing close enough to see the pain etched into every line of her face. Then make me understand. She shook her head, more tears falling now. I can't. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Claire, this is goodbye, Nathan. She turned, walked toward the door. Each step felt like a knife twisting in his chest. Claire, wait. But she didn't wait. She didn't look back. The door closed behind her with a soft click that echoed like a gunshot in the empty office. Nathan stood frozen, blindsided, destroyed. How did we get here? 6 months earlier, Nathan Parker's life had been exactly what he'd designed it to be. Perfect, controlled, successful. He was 35 years old, running Technova Industries, a software company he had founded at 27. 8 years of relentless work had transformed a startup into a tech giant worth $500 million. People called him demanding. They weren't wrong. Nathan expected excellence because he delivered it himself. But he was fair. He paid well, promoted based on merit, built a company culture people actually wanted to be part of. And 3 years ago, he'd hired Claire Bennett as his executive secretary. Best decision he'd ever made. Professionally speaking, Claire was exceptional. 28 years old, sharp, organized, anticipating his needs before he even knew he had them. She scheduled his impossible calendar with precision, managed crisis after crisis without breaking a sweat, remembered every detail of every meeting, every client, every deadline. She was perfect at her job, but that wasn't the problem. The problem was Nathan had started noticing other things. The way she smiled when she brought him his coffee in the morning, black, 2 sugars, exactly how he liked it, even though he'd never told her. She just figured it out. The way she laughed at his dry humor when everyone else in the office looked confused. The way she handled pressure, calm, steady. While everyone else panicked during board meetings or product launches, Claire remained unshakable. A rock in the storm. Nathan tried to ignore it, tried to keep it professional, tried to remind himself she was his employee, that crossing that line was inappropriate, complicated, messy. But the heart doesn't care about appropriate. It started small. The realization creeping up on him like dawn, breaking slowly over the horizon. Claire working late one Thursday evening, everyone else gone home, just the 2 of them in the empty office. She'd brought him dinner without being asked, Thai food from his favorite place across town. You didn't have to do that, he'd said. She'd smiled. I know, but you've been working 16-hour days for 2 weeks straight. Someone has to make sure you eat. Something in his chest had tightened, or the time during the Harrison merger, when everything was falling apart. Shareholders panicking. Legal team scrambling. Nathan stressed beyond measure. Claire had walked into his office, set down a cup of tea, and said simply, Breathe, you've handled worse, you'll handle this. And he had, because she believed he could. Or the board meeting where he'd made a strategic error, pushing too hard on a deal that wasn't ready. Everyone had nodded along, too afraid to contradict him. Everyone except Claire. She'd caught his eye, given the smallest shake of her head, and later privately explained why he needed to wait. She'd been right, and he'd listened, because Claire never spoke unless she had something worth saying. That's when Nathan realized this wasn't just attraction. This wasn't just physical. This was something deeper, something terrifying. He was falling in love with his secretary, and once he admitted that to himself, once he let that truth settle in his bones, he couldn't ignore it anymore. He decided to pursue her. Nathan Parker didn't back down from challenges, and he was convinced, certain that she felt it too. The way her breath caught when he stood close, the way her eyes lingered on him when she thought he wasn't looking. It was mutual. He knew it. So one evening after everyone else had left, Nathan made his move. "Claire, can I talk to you for a moment?" She looked up from her desk, smiled. "Of course." He walked over, leaned against her desk, kept his voice casual. "I was wondering if you'd like to have dinner with me tomorrow night." The smile faded, just slightly. "Dinner?" "Yes. There's a new Italian place downtown. I hear it's excellent." Claire set down her pen carefully, too carefully. "I don't think that's appropriate, Mr. Parker." Mr. Parker, she'd called him Nathan for the past 6 months. The return to formality stung. "It's Nathan," he said. "And why not? We're both adults." She stood, creating distance. "Because I'm your employee, and because—" She paused, something flickering across her face. Pain? Fear? "I just can't." Nathan frowned. "Can't or won't. Does it matter?" "Yes, it matters to me." Claire grabbed her purse, avoided his eyes. "I'm sorry, Nathan. The answer is no. Good night." She'd walked out before he could respond. Nathan stood there, confused, rejected. He was used to getting what he wanted. In business, in life. Women didn't say no to Nathan Parker. But Claire just had, and that only made him want her more. If this story has you hooked, hit that subscribe button right now. We share powerful stories about love, heartbreak, and the secrets that change everything. You won't want to miss what happens next. Here's a question for you, Bus. Have you ever been rejected by someone you knew felt the same way? Drop your story in the comments below. Nathan Parker didn't give up easily. He hadn't built a billion-dollar company by accepting defeat the first time someone said no. So he pursued her. The next morning, a bouquet arrived at Claire's desk. White roses, her favorite. He'd noticed months ago when she'd mentioned them in passing conversation. Claire stared at them for a long moment. Then she walked into his office, the flowers in her hands. "Thank you, they're beautiful." Her voice was professional, polite, nothing more. "You're welcome," Nathan said, searching her face for something, anything. She set them back on her desk and returned to work. As if nothing had happened, as if he hadn't just sent her flowers that cost more than most people's rent. Nathan gritted his teeth. Fine, he'd try something else. A week later, Technova's annual gala approached. Black tie, major investors, the kind of event where appearances mattered. "Claire, I'd like you to accompany me to the gala as my date." She didn't even look up from her computer. "I'll be there in my professional capacity, Mr. Parker, but not as your date." "Nathan," he corrected. "And why not?" "Because it's not appropriate." That word again, appropriate. Like there were rules about who you could fall in love with. What if I made it appropriate? What if you weren't my secretary anymore? That got her attention. She looked up, eyes wide. "Are you firing me?" "No, God, no. I'm saying I could promote you, move you to a different department. Then there wouldn't be any conflict of interest." Claire's expression softened for just a moment, like she was considering it, like she wanted to say yes. Then the walls came back up. "I appreciate the offer, but the answer is still no." Nathan felt frustration building in his chest. Hot, suffocating. "Why? Just tell me why, Claire." "Because I can't. That's all the answer you're getting." She went to the gala, but she went alone in a simple black dress that still managed to make every other woman in the room fade into the background. Nathan watched her all night, unable to look away, and she kept her distance. Professional, polite, distant. It was driving him insane. Every attempt he made, Claire deflected. He created reasons to work late, hoping they'd have moments alone. She found excuses to leave early. He suggested lunch meetings. She brought sandwiches to eat at her desk. No woman had ever rejected Nathan Parker like this. Not with this consistency, this determination. And somehow, impossibly, it only made him want her more. But Claire wasn't unaffected. Nathan could see it. The way her hands trembled slightly when he stood too close. The way her breath caught when their fingers touched passing documents. The way she looked at him when she thought he wasn't paying attention. She felt it too. He knew she did. So why was she fighting it so hard? The office noticed. Of course they noticed. The tension between them was thick enough to cut with a knife. Claire's best friend Amy, who worked in HR, cornered her in the break room one afternoon. Nathan was walking past, heard their voices through the partially open door. "Girl, that man is crazy about you. Why won't you give him a chance?" Claire's voice was quiet, strained. "It's complicated, Amy. You don't understand." "So explain it to me." Silence. Long, heavy. "I can't. Just drop it, okay?" "Claire, I care. Please, Amy, just drop it." Nathan walked away before they caught him listening. But the conversation haunted him. Something was wrong. Something Claire wasn't telling anyone. And then Nathan started noticing other things. Things that made his concern grow into something darker. Something that felt like fear. Claire winced sometimes. Little flashes of pain that crossed her face when she thought no one was looking. She'd press her fingers to her temple, close her eyes, breathe through it. He saw her taking pills one afternoon, discreetly slipping them from a prescription bottle into her hand, swallowing them quickly with water. When she turned and saw him watching, she smiled. Just a headache. But it wasn't just once. It was multiple times a day. Different pills, different bottles. She looked tired. Even with makeup carefully applied, Nathan could see the exhaustion in her eyes, the slight pallor to her skin, the way she moved more slowly some days, like everything hurt. Doctor appointment became a regular entry in her calendar. Once a week, sometimes twice, always marked as personal time. "Everything okay?" Nathan asked after the third appointment in 2 weeks. Claire smiled, that practiced smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Fine, just routine checkups." 3 checkups in 2 weeks? I'm being thorough, you know me. Type A personality. But it wasn't fine. Nathan knew it wasn't fine. Something was wrong, something she was hiding, and it terrified him. Then came the breakthrough. The Morrison deal. 6 months of negotiations finally closed. $50 million. The biggest contract Technova had ever landed. The office erupted in celebration. Champagne flowed. Music played. Everyone laughing, drinking, celebrating. Nathan found Claire by the window, watching the festivities but not participating. "Come outside with me," he said. Not a question, not quite a command, a plea. She hesitated, then nodded. They stepped onto the private balcony off the executive floor. The city stretched below them, lights twinkling like stars brought down to earth. It was cold, November wind biting through their clothes. Nathan turned to face her. This was it. No more dancing around it, no more pretending. "I need to tell you something. I've been trying to for months." Claire's body tensed immediately. "Nathan, don't. I'm falling in love with you, Claire." Her eyes went wide, filled with tears instantly. "No," he corrected himself. "I've already fallen. I'm in love with you. Completely. Hopelessly. Utterly in love with you." "Please don't say that." Her voice broke on the words. "Wish boy." He stepped closer, so close he could see her trembling. "I know you feel something too. I see it in the way you look at me, the way you smile when I walk into a room, the way your breath catches when I'm close." A tear spilled down her cheek. Then another. Nathan reached up, gently cupping her face in his hands. "Give us a chance, please, Claire. Just give us a chance, for one perfect moment." She leaned into his touch, her eyes closed, more tears falling. Then she pulled away, stepped back, shook her head. I can't, Nathan, I can't do this. His heart shattered. Why not? Just tell me why. I just can't. Her voice was desperate now, broken. I'm sorry. She turned and ran, actually ran, back through the office, grabbing her coat, her purse, fleeing like the building was on fire. Nathan stood on that balcony alone, cold wind cutting through his suit, the sounds of celebration behind him. And he felt more alone than he'd ever felt in his entire life. She loved him. He knew she did. He'd seen it in her eyes before she ran. So why was she running? What was Claire Bennett so afraid of? Nathan couldn't let it go. He tried. God, he tried. But something wasn't right. Something beyond rejection, beyond unrequited feelings. This was something else, something darker. He was hurt, angry, but more than that, he was worried, deeply, terrifyingly worried, because Claire was getting worse. He watched her over the next 2 weeks, really watched her. The weight falling off her already slim frame, the exhaustion that no amount of coffee could hide, the way she moved more slowly, like her body was betraying her, and then it happened. A Tuesday afternoon, normal day. Claire was filing documents when suddenly she swayed. Her hands shot out, gripping the edge of the desk. Her face went pale, ghostly white. Nathan was out of his office in seconds. Claire! He reached her just as her knees buckled, caught her, held her steady. I'm fine, she whispered, but her voice was weak, shaky. You're not fine. His hands were still on her arms, feeling how thin she'd become. How fragile. Claire, what's going on? She pulled away from him, wouldn't meet his eyes. Just dizzy. Didn't eat enough today. That's not, I'm going home early. She grabbed her purse with trembling hands. I'll make up the hours tomorrow. Claire, please. But she was already walking away, out the door, gone. Nathan stood there, his heart pounding, his mind racing, and he made a decision. One he wasn't proud of, one that crossed every boundary of privacy and trust. But he had to know. That evening, Nathan waited in his car across from the Tech Nova building. When Claire emerged at 5:30, he followed her. He kept his distance. 3 cars back, professional. Like he was in some kind of terrible spy movie he never wanted to be in. She didn't go home. She drove 15 minutes across town and pulled into a parking lot. Nathan's stomach dropped when he saw the sign. City Medical Center. Not a clinic, not a doctor's office. The medical center, the place where serious cases went. Cancer patients, organ failure, life-threatening illnesses. He watched Claire walk inside, her shoulders hunched against the cold. Or maybe against something else, something heavier than weather. Nathan sat in his car for 20 minutes, then 40, then an hour, torn between respecting her privacy and the desperate need to know what was killing the woman he loved. Because something was killing her. He knew it now, knew it in his bones. The next morning, Nathan didn't go to his office. He went straight to HR. Amy looked up when he walked in, and something in his expression made her stand immediately. Mr. Parker. Amy. His voice was rough. He hadn't slept. I need to know what's going on with Claire, please. Amy's face went pale. It's not my place to say. She's sick, isn't she? The words tasted like ash. I saw her go to the medical center yesterday. City Medical. That's not where you go for routine checkups. Amy's eyes filled with tears, just filled instantly. Nathan felt his world tilt. You need to talk to her, Amy said, her voice breaking. She won't talk to me. She won't answer my calls, won't see me, won't tell me anything. His hands were shaking. When had they started shaking? Please, Amy, I'm begging you, tell me what's wrong. Amy looked at him for a long moment. Then she closed her office door, sat down heavily in her chair. She's protecting you, Nathan. His blood ran cold. Protecting me from what? Amy wiped her eyes, took a shaky breath. Claire has been sick for over a year. It started before any of this happened between you two. Nathan's legs felt weak. He sat down without being asked. It got worse over time. She's been undergoing treatment, trying to manage it, but it's Amy's voice cracked. It's serious, Nathan, really serious. What is it? What does she have? That's for Claire to tell you, not me. Amy, please. No. Amy's voice was firm now. I've already said too much, but you need to know. She looked directly into his eyes. It's potentially life-threatening, and she rejected you because she doesn't want you to watch her suffer. The words hit Nathan like a freight train. Life-threatening. Suffer, watch her die. She thinks I'm that shallow? His voice came out strangled, angry, hurt. She thinks I'd abandon her because she's sick? She doesn't think you're shallow. She thinks she's doing you a favor. Letting you have a normal life, a future with someone who can give you what she can't. Nathan stood abruptly. The chair scraped against the floor. Where is she? Is she here today? She called in sick this morning. Of course she did. Nathan was already walking toward the door when Amy called after him. Nathan, she loves you. You need to know that. She loves you so much, it's destroying her to push you away. He didn't respond. Couldn't respond. He just left. The next day, Claire came to the office early, before anyone else arrived. She walked into Nathan's office and placed an envelope on his desk, her resignation letter. Nathan stared at it, then at her. No. I'm taking time for personal reasons, effective immediately. Claire must worry here. You deserve someone whole, Nathan. Her voice was steady, but her hands were shaking. Someone who can give you a future, children, a life, all the things you want. You are my future. He stood, moved toward her. Don't you understand that? She backed away, shook her head. No, I'm not. I can't be. Why? Because you're sick. You think that matters to me? Her face crumpled. It should matter. You should run. You should find someone who isn't, her voice broke. Someone who isn't broken. You're not broken. Goodbye, Nathan. She turned and walked out of his office, out of the building, out of his life. Nathan stood there in the empty office, the resignation letter on his desk, the woman he loved disappearing. And he felt something inside him shatter completely. He called her 10 times, 20. She didn't answer. He drove to her apartment that night, knocked on the door, pounded on it. Claire, Claire, please just talk to me. Nothing, but he could hear her, crying, sobbing. On the other side of that door, it killed him, absolutely killed him. Please let me in, he said, his voice breaking. His forehead pressed against the door. Please, Claire. Don't do this. Don't shut me out. Still nothing. He left a note slipped under her door. Then another the next day. Texts, voicemails, every one of them saying the same thing. I love you. I'm not leaving. Whatever you're facing, let me face it with you. Days passed, no response. Nathan walked through his life like a ghost. His assistant tried to get him to attend meetings. Sir, you have the board presentation at 2. Cancel it. And the investor call at 4? Cancel them. Cancel all of them. She stared at him. Sir, we can't just... I said cancel them. His voice was sharp, desperate. She left quickly. Nathan sat in his office, staring at his phone, willing it to ring, willing Claire to call, to text, to give him anything. But the phone stayed silent. And Nathan Parker, a man who'd built an empire by refusing to accept defeat, had no idea how to fight a battle where the person he was fighting for wouldn't let him into the ring. On the 5th day of silence, Nathan couldn't take it anymore. He drove back to Amy's office. She looked up when he walked in, and the exhaustion on his face must have said everything. Tell me everything. His voice was raw, broken. I need to know what she's facing. Amy hesitated, her hands twisted together on her desk. Amy, please. I'm losing my mind. I can't help her if I don't know what we're fighting. Something in Amy's expression cracked. She took a shaky breath. She has a brain tumor. Stage 3. The world stopped. Completely stopped. Nathan heard the words, but they didn't make sense. Couldn't make sense. Brain tumor. Stage 3. What? The word came out as barely a whisper. They caught it late. Amy's voice was thick with tears. She'd been having headaches for months before she finally went to a doctor. By then it had already grown. She's been doing treatment, radiation, trying different medications. But Nathan, Amy wiped her eyes. It's aggressive. Nathan couldn't breathe. His chest was tight, his vision blurred. Why didn't she tell me? Because she loves you. Amy's voice broke completely, and she doesn't want to be your burden. She doesn't want you to watch her die. Die. The word echoed in Nathan's mind like a gunshot. Claire was dying, the woman he loved, the woman who brought him coffee every morning and challenged him in meetings and made him laugh when nothing else could. The woman who made him want to be better, kinder, more human. She was dying, and she'd faced it alone. Nathan stood abruptly. Thank you, Amy. Nathan, what are you? But he was already gone. He didn't go back to his office. He went home, locked himself in his study, and he researched. For 18 hours straight, Nathan researched. Brain tumors, stage 3, treatment options, survival rates, clinical trials, experimental procedures. He made calls, used every connection he had, reached out to specialists across the country, across the world. Money opened doors. Nathan had always known that, but he'd never been more grateful for his wealth than he was in those hours. Because money could buy access, information, hope. By the next morning, he'd found it. Dr. Sarah Chen, top neurologist in Boston, pioneer in experimental treatments for aggressive brain tumors. She'd developed a new procedure combining targeted radiation with immunotherapy. High success rate for Claire's specific tumor type. Expensive, experimental, risky. Nathan didn't care. Whatever it takes, he told Dr. Chen on the phone. Whatever it costs, I don't care. Can you help her? Dr. Chen's response was cautious but hopeful. Send me her medical records. I'll review them. If she's a candidate, we can schedule her immediately. Nathan got the records. Don't ask how. Money, connections, desperation. And then he drove to Claire's apartment. He pounded on the door, hard. Claire, open this door or I'm breaking it down. Nothing. I'm serious, Claire. I will break down this door. He heard movement inside. Slow, shuffling. The door opened, and Nathan's heart shattered all over again. Claire looked terrible. Thin, so thin he could see the bones in her face. Pale, exhausted. Dark circles under her eyes that makeup couldn't hide anymore. She wore sweatpants and an oversized sweater, and she looked so small, so fragile. Nathan, her voice was hoarse. You have a brain tumor. Not a question, a statement. Claire's face crumbled. Amy told you. Yes, and I'm glad she did because you clearly weren't going to. Claire turned and walked back into her apartment. Didn't close the door. An invitation, or maybe she just didn't have the energy to fight. Nathan followed her inside. The apartment was dark, curtains closed, dishes in the sink. This wasn't Claire. Claire was organized, put together. This was what illness looked like when you stopped fighting it alone. You had no right to dig into my medical history. Claire's voice was angry, but her tears betrayed her. You had no right to push me away without telling me the truth, Nathan shot back. I was protecting you. I don't need protection. I need you. Claire collapsed onto the couch. Not sat, collapsed, like her legs just gave out. And she sobbed, deep, wrenching sobs that shook her entire body. I'm dying, Nathan. Don't you understand? I'm dying. Nathan crossed the room in 2 strides, knelt on the floor in front of her, took her hands in his. They were so cold. Not if I have anything to say about it. She looked at him through her tears, confused, hopeful, scared. Nathan pulled out his phone, showed her the research. Dr. Chen's credentials, the experimental treatment, the success rates. There's a chance, Claire, a real chance. Claire stared at the screen, then shook her head. I can't afford that. My insurance barely covers what I'm doing now. Do you know how much experimental treatment costs? I do, and I can afford it. I will afford it. No. She pulled her hands away. I won't take your money. It's not about money. Nathan's voice rose, desperate. It's about you surviving. It's about us having a chance, a future. There is no us, Nathan. Her voice was barely a whisper. I can't do that to you. Do what? He grabbed her hands again, held them tight. Let me love you. Let me fight for you. Claire, I'm in love with you, completely, desperately. And I'm not walking away just because things are hard. She was crying harder now. What if the treatment doesn't work? What if you spend all that money and time and energy and I die anyway? What if you have to watch me die? Let's play out a game. If you're truly watching and not just scrolling through comments, type "love fights" in the comments below. Only those who made it this far will understand what happens next. Nathan cupped her face in his hands, made her look at him. Really look at him. Then at least I'll have had the time with you. Every moment, every second, every laugh and every tear and every sunrise. I'll take whatever time we have, Claire. A year, a month, a week, I don't care. I just want to be with you. I don't want to be your tragedy. Her voice broke on the word tragedy, like it was something she'd thought about, obsessed over. The idea of being the sad story people told about Nathan Parker, the woman he loved who died. You're not a tragedy, Claire. Nathan's own voice was thick with tears now. You're the love of my life. You're the woman who makes me want to be better, who challenges me, who sees me, really sees me, not the CEO, not the money, just me. He pressed his forehead against hers. Let me fight for you. Please, let me love you through this. Whatever happens, whatever comes, let me be there. Claire's tears soaked into his shirt, her hands clutched at his shoulders, and for the first time in weeks, she stopped running. I'm so scared, she whispered. I know. I'm scared too. What if I lose? Then we lose together. But Claire, he pulled back to look into her eyes. What if you win? She stared at him, and in her eyes, Nathan saw something he hadn't seen in months. Hope. Fragile, terrified, but real. Okay, she breathed. Okay. Claire collapsed against Nathan's chest, completely, fully. No more walls, no more running, just surrender. I love you too, she sobbed into his shirt. I've loved you for over a year, maybe longer. Maybe from the first day you walked into the office and demanded coffee at 6 a.m. like a complete tyrant. Nathan laughed through his own tears, held her tighter. I was so scared, Nathan. Her voice was muffled against him, but he heard every word, felt every word. Scared of leaving you, scared of letting you watch me suffer, scared of becoming someone you'd pity instead of love. He pulled back just enough to look at her, to make sure she saw his face, saw the truth written there. I'm more scared of losing you without fighting. Let me fight with you, Claire. Please let me be there for every battle, every victory, every setback, all of it. She looked into his eyes, saw something there she'd been too afraid to see before. Unwavering love. Fierce determination. A man who didn't run from hard things. A man who ran toward them. Okay, she whispered, okay. 3 days later, they were on a plane to Boston. The treatment was brutal. Claire had known it would be, but knowing and experiencing were two completely different things. The nausea hit first, wave after wave of it, until she couldn't keep anything down. Not water, not crackers, nothing. Nathan held her hair back, rubbed her back, brought ice chips when that was all she could tolerate. Never complained, never looked away. The exhaustion was worse than the pain. At least pain meant you were feeling something. Exhaustion meant your body was giving up, shutting down, too tired to fight. Nathan read to her on those days. Old classics she loved, his voice washing over her like a lullaby, anchoring her to the world when everything else felt like it was slipping away. There were scary days, days when the doctors frowned at test results, days when setbacks made Claire want to give up entirely. I can't do this, she whispered one night. Week 4 of treatment, her body ravaged, her spirit broken. Nathan climbed into the hospital bed beside her. held her. Yes, you can, and you're not doing it alone. But there were also good days, days when Claire laughed at something stupid Nathan said, days when she kept food down, days when hope felt like more than just a word. Their love didn't grow despite the struggle. It grew because of it. Every hard moment made them stronger. Every battle fought together welded them closer. Every tear shed and every triumph celebrated became another thread in the tapestry they were weaving together. This was what love looked like. Not roses and champagne, but ice chips and hospital gowns and holding someone's hand through the darkest nights. 3 months into treatment, they sat in Dr. Chen's office. Nathan's hand gripped Claire's so tight it almost hurt, but she didn't pull away. She needed that anchor. Dr. Chen walked in, and she was smiling. Claire's heart stopped. The tumor is shrinking, significantly. The words didn't register at first. Claire just stared. What? She whispered. The treatment is working, Claire. You're responding beautifully, better than we hoped. The tumor has reduced by 60%. Claire gasped. Her free hand flew to her mouth. Tears streamed down her face instantly. Nathan pulled her into his arms, both of them crying, shaking, laughing through the tears. You did it, he whispered into her hair. You're beating it. We did it, she corrected. We did it together. 6 months later, Claire walked back into Technova Industries, but not as Nathan's secretary, as vice president of operations, a position she'd earned through 3 years of exceptional work, through skills and intelligence and determination that had nothing to do with who she was dating. Nathan had offered it. The board had approved it unanimously. The office erupted when she stepped through the doors. Balloons, streamers, a massive welcome back banner hanging from the ceiling. People she'd worked with for years surrounded her, hugging her, crying, celebrating. Amy pushed through the crowd and pulled Claire into a crushing embrace. You did it. You survived. Claire held her best friend tight. We survived. All of us. I couldn't have done it without you. Without Nathan. Without all of you believing I could win. That evening, Nathan asked Claire to stay late, meet him on the executive floor. She found him on the balcony, the same balcony where everything had fallen apart 6 months ago, where she'd run from his confession of love because she'd been too scared to let him in. The city sparkled below them. November had turned to May. Cold had given way to warmth. Darkness had transformed into light. Nathan turned when he heard her, smiled that smile that still made her heart skip. I told you on this balcony that I was falling in love with you. Claire stepped closer, smiled back. I remember. I ran away. You're not running now. No, Duns. She took his hand, intertwined their fingers. I'm not. Nathan's expression shifted, became serious, tender, overwhelming. He dropped to one knee. Claire's breath caught. Her eyes filled with tears immediately. Nathan pulled a small velvet box from his pocket. Opened it. A ring sparkled in the city lights. Simple, elegant, perfect. Claire Bennett, you are the strongest, bravest person I know. You fought a battle that would have destroyed most people. You faced death and refused to blink. You let me love you when you thought it would hurt me. His voice cracked with emotion. Will you marry me? Will you let me spend the rest of my life showing you what real love looks like? Will you be my wife? Claire was crying and laughing at the same time. Yes, yes, 1,000 times, yes. Nathan slid the ring onto her finger, stood, pulled her into his arms and kissed her like she was air, and he'd been drowning. When they finally pulled apart, both breathless, Claire pressed her forehead to his. I almost lost you before I ever had you, Nathan whispered. But you didn't. You fought for me when I couldn't fight for myself. And I'll keep fighting every day for the rest of our lives. They kissed again as the city lights sparkled around them like stars brought down to earth. Two people who'd found love in the darkest place. Two people who'd learned that sometimes the hardest battles are the ones most worth fighting. Two people who'd discovered that real love doesn't run from pain. It runs straight through it, hand in hand, together. Claire pushed Nathan away because she loved him. She thought protecting him from pain was love. She thought letting him have a normal life without her illness was the greatest gift she could give him. But real love doesn't run from hard things. It runs toward them. It shows up in hospital rooms and holds hair back during nausea and reads books when exhaustion makes everything else impossible. Nathan didn't see Claire's illness as a burden. He saw loving her through it as a privilege, the greatest honor of his life. Because that's what love is. Not the easy moments, but the hard ones. The ones that test you, break you, rebuild you into something stronger. Sometimes the most painful secrets are the ones we keep to protect the people we love. We think we're doing them a favor, sparing them, giving them an escape route. But love doesn't need protection. It needs truth. It needs courage. It needs two people willing to face the darkness together and say, whatever comes, we face it side by side. Claire tried to face her battle alone. Nathan refused to let her. And in that refusal, in that stubborn determination to fight for her even when she pushed him away, he showed her what love really means. It means staying when it's hard, fighting when it's easier to run, choosing someone every single day, especially on the days when choosing them costs you everything. Have you ever pushed someone away to protect them? Or have you fought for someone who tried to leave because they thought it was the right thing? Share your story in the comments below. Your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that love is worth fighting for, and that the hardest battles often lead to the most beautiful victories, hit that subscribe button right now. We share powerful stories about love that refuses to give up, courage that changes everything, and the incredible strength that comes from facing life's darkest moments together. Because sometimes the love story that starts with rejection ends with forever. And sometimes fighting for someone who's trying to protect you is the most loving thing you can do.